So right, that goes back to help me out on this one, Nick. What party was he representing back in 1890-ish? Populist Party, right? So this guy was coming out of the Butte era, saying the exact same thing we're saying now, that we want a silver standard. We want a substantial, valuable metal to be the basis for our currency. Developed huge popular support throughout Montana, like a 99% what's the word I'm looking for? Approval rating, right? That spread to Idaho, Utah, South Dakota, North Dakota. So everybody who was working with this metal and saying, hey, this is what we do. Why isn't money based off substance versus something else? And Bryant would have been the first populist candidate, and he had a very strong chance of winning the U.S. presidential seat, but just didn't make it. So it's cool that this has a long history in Montana itself, and it's even on our university. There's a quote that says from Bryant, it's if you take away the cities, grass will grow. No, if you take away the farms, grass will grow in the cities. If you take away the farms, there won't be anything left to rebuild, and something like this. Just a quick aside.
You guys, for the most part, agree that, or at least there's a majority of people that agree that it should be based on a valuable metal such as gold or silver. But I mean, the concept of money, does it really matter what form it is? I mean, why do we value gold? Like,
well, gold is scarce. The U.S. dollar is not scarce.
I answer that.
Go for it.
The thing is, with gold, you have to mine it. There's labor involved in getting the currency, and the currency is half of every transaction in the country. So every purchase in the entire country, half of that transaction is money. So it's extremely important on where the money's coming from. Because for instance, say if you're the owner of the private Federal Reserve and you have control of the currency, you have the printing press, and you can arrest everybody else that prints money as saying they're counterfeiters, but you have the ability to inflate your money supply and control the cartel.
But if we had a system where Congress actually controlled the money supply, much like the Federal Reserve does, only in a government basis where Congress actually has a say in what the inflation rate is and everything that the Federal Reserve does, don't you think that would be a better, how would you control mining? I mean,
because it could never inflate, because it'd be impossible. Like for instance, we've doubled our money supply just in the last year almost, and you could never double the money supply if the money's gold, and you could never control it to the point where you can manipulate the entire society. See, if I can control it, if I can make sure you guys all have to do business with, say, my name's Trent, right? I print Trent papers, and you guys can only do business with each other and make laws where you can only do business with each other with my Trent papers. Well, eventually I'm going to control the entire society. I'm going to wage war with other empires and make you guys the pawns that go die. Vietnam, that was the communists working together with our government in order to centralize power in both sides, and they're using fiat money to fund both sides of the war.
There's two things. Why gold reserve is important. At least this is what Ludwig von Mises and later Hayek used as a justification for a gold standard, was that any standard, any money is always based upon the most tradable good possible. A long time ago, I mean, and its relative rarity. So it's not too abundant to where everyone has it, and it's not, but it's desired enough that everyone it's transferable. That's basically the idea where money comes from. Gold fulfills those categories as well as other valuable metals, mostly because we need it for production. And then on top of that, the major difference, I mean, there's two things. It's just why gold specifically, and then why have someone else other than the Federal Reserve control it. The Federal Reserve is appointed, the chairman is appointed by the president, but the president can only pick from a pool of people that have been chosen from banking. Like, Citigroup gets to pick who the president gets to pick from. Okay, so it's not like any old schmo can do it. You have to please the banking industry. So the difference is democracy and representation in our monetary policy, and then it's also anything that fulfills those requirements of rare and easily transferable can be money. I mean, it doesn't have to be gold, but it's
But I mean,
usually
if-
argued as the best fulfiller.
If you're
of that
printing, if
policy.
say the government prints monetary paper money, then it has strict control over how many paper monies it produces. And so that they're in a sense controlling the money supply and controlling the rarity of the value. But I mean, it's all in people's mind. If people realize like, well, our money's only worth a roll of paper towels, like what does that do to our society? Like everyone suddenly stops trading? I don't think so.
Well, that's the thing, is that the argument against the Fed is that it doesn't do what it says it's supposed to do.
Right.
The Fed is supposed to take away the punch bowl at the party. The Fed, when interest rates are low, when everything's bad, when the economy's low, it has to raise interest rates. That's the only way to fight inflation, right? Gold will naturally go up as markets go down. It naturally sets the interest rate because it's a tradable commodity. There's some place you want to hold your money at to retain its value. You buy gold. In a fractional reserve system, or where you have a certain amount of dollars per ounce of gold someplace, or in a gold standard system, the interest rates will naturally adjust with the market. In a Keynesian system or a central banking system, the temptation is always there for someone to decide, well, what if we just keep the interest rates low a little bit, and that'll get things going again. At least that's the idea, and that will create more product. And the difference is letting the market control it. The rates will always be responsible and reflective of the actual risk in the market, versus letting someone control it or a central bank control it. It's much more likely that you'll have policies that are either favorable some people over others, or don't reflect the market risk.